pot noodles and black coffee. This is how you know I wrote 3 essays in 48 hours. Literally, I'm not eating fruit since being at uni. It's so bad. Like, what is a vegetable? Never forget the real realities of being a student. That bag you can like prop full like it's a library. Mum said earlier it's like a walking library. I realised just then I was very zoomed in. I fell asleep on the train, so I kind of woke up like, where am I?
The fish pie. Ja, dat ziet er wel goed.
I've basically chained myself to my desk for the last 6 hours to try and get this essay done. It's going okay. I just have another one to write and they both, it's like when you have 2 essays on exactly the same deadline, it's like, oh, you kind of don't know which one you want to prioritise. And it's kind of driving me crazy. But at least I think my footnotes are correct. So that's one thing. I bought blueberries, so I'm now a happier person than I was before I started eating them. So well though. I'm also now like 80% done with that essay I was writing, which is really, really a nice feeling. But then I have to go ahead and write another essay, but luckily not like from scratch this time, so I'll get this done. Never forget the real realities of being a student. You read a lot and you have to write them essays. I feel like for the next 4 or 5 years, like continuing how long I want to study for, this is gonna make up a worryingly large proportion of my diet. Pot noodles and black coffee. Oh god. I feel like the hair poof is considerable right now. It's like majorly poofy now because it's so short and I do it upside down, so it's like suddenly a lot of it all over again.
Because that email story would
OOTD. Yeah, da da da. This says bright star in French because I'm so multicultural. And this is skirt as usual. I'm like obsessed with the skirt right now and like especially like getting it to like style it properly. It's like my obsession. Also, kind of digging my hair. Yeah, I kind of like it short actually. I just find it really annoying because like it's really cold and rainy today, so like my ears could be red, I don't know, it just get really, really cold and it hurts. And it was raining. And this morning I was, yesterday I was saying to myself, it hasn't rained very much in London. I jinxed it. I was thinking it's pathetic fallacy for the current global situation. I don't want to talk about it. I'm kind of like convinced that if I was American I would have like been like full on the Hillary campaign trail. I would be crying right now. Almost did cry this morning, but let's not get into that. In other news though, this came for me. The mail, I'm trying to like rip it out. Look what a pretty edition this is. This is a portrait of an artist as a young man, and it's absolutely tiny, so I have no excuse not to bring this absolutely everywhere with me and try and read it. And this is second hand off Amazon. They're not sending me the editions that I thought I was ordering. A lot of what I'm reading is in translation. You want a specific translation by a specific translator. Hang on, wait, oh, gets better. Oh. Do you see this? Do you see this? It's like, okay, this is just useless, right? Where's my bin gone? Why does it always move? That's useless. Vote for scale, look how cute it is. It's teeny weeny weeny. Ah, it's so pretty. It's a portrait of the artist as a young man, by the way, which is Joyce. He's the bloke who wrote Ulysses, which is, you know the last sentence in is it Ulysses? Ulysses? Blah, blah, blah. You know it's like 4,000 words long. It's like stream of consciousness, but like terrifying stream of consciousness. Wait, I thought in English the first thing we're taught is we're not allowed to start a book like this. Something I noticed personally today is like, you know when you can genuinely feel you're laying a foundation for a friendship? It's always quite weird when I realise I'm doing it and I'm like, wow, it's like you're kind of laying the foundations for friendship and you're laying sort of the framework for like a group of friends. It's like people with common interests and like essentially kind of, I guess the way to explain this is for a very long time I feel like I've been creatively isolated. The school I went to for my GCSEs and stuff, it was very difficult to find people who creatively wanted to work with me, like bar Georgia, because nobody was really that into it and nobody was really passionate as like we were. So there creatively I didn't have very many people to bounce off, and then during sixth form I just didn't have the fucking time. And while it's true that I have 2 friends who are in my close group of friends who are very, very creative and who bouncing ideas with them is really useful, it wasn't still exactly what I wanted to do. So I feel like that's one of the reasons I desperately wanted to go to university, is that I then have people now, and that's what I've been doing today, is like, I sat down with a girl who's doing exactly the same course as me, and I was like, we were talking about film, and then she was like, I'm an actress, and I was there like, are you? Is it gonna be I want collaborative friendships, does that make sense? Because I'm kind of like starting to find people who are like, yeah, I want to make films too, yeah, I like doing this about film, and I like acting, and oh, I like writing, and it's like finding this group of creative people who I can work with, who I can bounce ideas off, I can help with them, they can help me. It's kind of finding people who are used to, like, it's networking in a way, it's like, but then, you know, having friendships as well. It's like you want to really find this group of people who really understand creatively what you want, and because I have been creatively isolated for such a long time, it's something that I'm really like, it's such a nice feeling. Like today I sent out a couple of messages regarding a film a little film project I want to make. I don't know, I spoke about it here, but a Love Story in 60 Seconds. I sent out a message today about that to my actors, so I'm like, you know, getting that show on the road, and it's very, I'm really starting to see the beginnings of an actual career. Does that make sense? Like, obviously I do have a weird sort of start of a career on YouTube. I mean, I've been doing this since I was 14. But it's like the fun stuff starts now, and I feel like that's one of the reasons I think my channel has almost been held back in a way for such a long time. Essentially, I'm trying to make collaborative friendships, and preferably a group of people together who... This is a joke, right? Essentially meeting a group of people who collaboratively want to work together, can work together, and just create. Vad fynder van Londen-bompa?
Papa?
Van Londen?
Oh, mooi. Nou, druk, hè.
Ja, druk.
En weet wat, we willen te veel zien op korte tijd. Verstaan je? En dat is een beetje...
Je moet dan langer komen. Je moet langer blijven.
Ja.
Guys, I've done something absolutely dreadful. I've broken my camera. Oh, light. It's not like the end of the world, because it is just the lens. But do you hear this? Oh, it is not supposed to make that noise. The autofocus is also completely gone. I can still manual focus it. It's not as smooth as it was. Do you hear that? It was stood in its little tripod like this, and I thought it was fine. And then it just kind of tips over and whacks itself. Like, it's fine. I'm pretty sure Santa Claus will answer my wishes and my prayers for a new baby. But it's just really like, I don't know, it's just bummed me out because, I mean, my life, this camera is like my life. Granted, I have had it, I was explaining to my mum, I've had it for 5 years. At least I'm doing this now. Like when I'm like 2 months away from getting a new baby instead of like 2 months after getting this. So I'm counting my blessings. I forgot to tell you the most like bitterly annoying thing about this was like literally 2 minutes before my grandparents were asking me, Emma, have you ever dropped your camera? And I was like, no, I've never dropped my camera. And then 2 minutes later, this happens. In other news, my grandparents have been here for a couple of days, so I think you guys probably noticed. But I think they've really enjoyed London, and I think I've never been before either, which I thought was really sweet. Especially because I know London, and like I'm getting to know London really well, and a lot of my life is now here, so it's just quite funny. But like, you've never been? It's so good. I do also now have another essay to write. This is essay writing week, basically. Like this is my third. I'm gonna written like. Basically, for my English grade, one of the things we had to do if it was a quarter of our grade was a 4,000 word essay, and now I wrote about 4,000 words in about 48 hours, and now I need to write another 2,000 words before 12 o'clock tomorrow morning. Actually, before 9:30 tomorrow morning. I keep saying 12, I don't, I have 9:30 because I have a seminar I have to go to. Today's been eventful, is all I can say. This is how you know I wrote 3 essays in 48 hours. Ugh. Like, it's fine. I mean, I committed all of them from, like, to paper in 48 hours. I didn't write them all in 48 hours. Like, I did loads of the thing beforehand, but I am, like, shattered. I just kind of crept into my bed. I have no idea if I'm in focus. As I said, I've broken the autofocus on my camera. I feel like today, like this week, is just really not very interesting for you guys. I mean, it's all dark. I gotta go to the kitchen. Like, I feel like this is really a week, but it's very, very dull. Ooh, the tomatoes. It's very, very dull, and like, it's kind of the reality of what it is to be a student when you take away all the fun stuff. Because all I have done this week is written essays, read, gone to lectures, and just fucking fallen asleep. But yeah, this is like what student life is in the UK. When you just take away anything remotely fun about your life. It sucks. I've written 6,000 words in the last 48 hours. And then my footnotes are fine though. That's all I care about. All I care about in life is footnotes. Like my tweets recently, like I read the last few days, have literally only been about A, the election, or B, plagiarism. You guys just like co-stalk my Twitter.
See, I have blueberries again, which makes me very happy. My dad is probably very jealous. He loves blueberries. As we can see, here is an empty blueberry thingy. I'm really into fruit again. I've literally have not eaten fruit since being at uni. It's so bad. Like, what is a vegetable? I now have to go from here to uni, and I've never actually done that before. And I'm probably going to do this all of second years, so I like should get used to it. I'm just having a very like intense moment of like love for the city, because this is going to be my commute for like a whole year at one point, so I'm just like, yes! I am late for my seminar though, but only by like a couple of minutes, so it's fine. Just should have taken the earlier tube. My bad! So, to recap, it's a good thing student discounts exist for books, right? I bought the Iliad and then obviously the Odyssey in a translation my brother recommended. He's doing ancient history, he knows this crap. Then I bought Sappho, because that's one of the essays I had to write on and I just really enjoyed it. So, yay, yeah, I know I put poetry. This is weird. It kind of doesn't like count because the translations, a lot of them have just been changed into prose as opposed to verse, so it doesn't like, because I don't really like poetry that much. Like I enjoy epic poetry a lot more than I just enjoy like I just don't like the romantics basically. Then in the epicness I continued and I got the Aeneid, Sappho, and then Voltaire, because I actually really like Voltaire. And I read his, what is it, Candide or Optimism, and it's quite funny. And then this is like Letters on England, which being a foreigner in England just kind of makes sense for me to read. Gonna find it be funny because I fucking love the 18th century. Just like books. Oops, oh, that just didn't work, did it? No. In other news, I got another naked thingy because I really, really like them, because I'm like, I need to fruit and just be healthy. At this point, I'm gonna just hide the brownie that I would. You will not know anything about the crap I also eat. Ugh. I'm just gonna like send a photo of this to my brother. I also realised this is an introduction by Carol Duffy, so I think it was really good. Sappho is like the first. Sappho is basically one of the only ancient Greek female poets, kind of like Plato called her the 10th muse. But I think it's appropriate that she's the one who's done the introduction, so I just kind of like that touch. Oh my god, though, is anyone else like really anal about like the additions they have of things? Like I have another Voltaire thing, I think I mentioned it, and I have to have it in the same edition, which like I have to have all of this in the same edition, and then most of my 18th century books are all in the same edition, and then when it comes to my bookshelf, I'm actually like, I'm using these at the moment, that's why they're like, but then I have to then like align things by edition and then like height order, because most editions are in height order, but then these are different like heights, but then they're the same edition, so they go together. And then like my random ones that haven't got any kind of, they just kind of go up there, and then these are my, I'm really OCD about this, and then actually arrange them all in like alphabetically. Usually this goes from red to then like white and red to then just white, and then these are penguins, so it all just goes, oh my god, literally, I have so many issues. And it's been kind of stuff like that I found quite funny, because today we were talking about Emily Dickinson. She was an American poet, but she barely published anything during her lifetime. But then the argument is that everyone tries to read her work really autobiographically because she didn't publish it. But then there's also an argument to be made of it. She like kept everything really neatly organised and written down in like little notebooks and stuff to keep it all together. So that then people argue that she did intend it to be read, and then there's this weird blurry thing there. And I'm just like, she's probably just a neat freak. Cause like, I'd probably do that, even if I wrote poetry that no one wanted anyone to read. Just never underestimate how fucking neat, freakish people can be with certain things. And it's quite funny because one of my friends, I once reorganised his whole bookshelf according to the way I like it, and then I could see him getting like more and more like, as I like organised his books out of the way he usually does it. So it's just quite funny, like, people are really weird about like books and stuff. I keep doing this. The reason I vlog like this, guys, is because it's a heavy camera, so I just need to, this is really painful to do it like this. But seriously, 10% student discount is important when you fucking love books. Oh yeah, also a decent argument for reading classics before you read other things if you're doing literature is because everything is like, even if it doesn't mean to be, is kind of like a reaction to the things that came before it. So you kind of, I feel like if you read these three, they give a lot of context to things that people then later talk about. Like, essentially if you read like the classics in the Bible, you should be set in terms of references because a lot of the time in things we're reading, you will get references like that and it might just go over your head and you'll interpret things like, I don't know, kind of incorrectly because you didn't realise it was a reference. I was worried about that. I'm always like worried about interpreting something wrong because I don't see it as a reference and then just getting it. Just making a fool of myself basically is my biggest fear. You're just gonna get the most rambly vlog this week. I'm really sorry. Look how cute. My grandma, one of her friends does like cross stitching, but she made this for me and I just think it's the sweetest thing. It's like sunflower. I almost cried by opening it because like sunflowers mean so much to me and I'm just like, it was so sweet. I am cooking, but believe it or not, and yes, by myself. This, and then adding this, and then on that.
Oh yeah, that's it.
That's the big show.
See, this is why I'm a visionary, Dad. Look at it. Oh, such a beautifully clear reflection. Oh. Hey guys, good news. So I basically managed to fix whatever happened to my camera. I was showing it to my dad that I'd broken it and I think I clicked it back into place. So my autofocus works again and that's great. And look, I am having my favourite thing in the, well, one of my favourite things in the whole wide world. Pizza. So I feel like this is a good place to end the vlog. I like having all that good. Yeah, that jazz. I'll see you next week for a more interesting week. I already have things planned. And the week after that is also fun. And the week after that, so just stay tuned for watching my life get vaguely more interesting. Yay!